All right, for today's player development pod, we are in a Mercedes S-Class Benz because this podcast is brought to you by Savoya. Savoya has really rolled out the carpet as I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina to talk to the Duke football program. But today's podcast episode is entitled Why You Can't Tell Everybody or Tell Everyone What You're Doing in Player Development. So I want to tell you a story, funny story, and a story I learned, and I told you all that I'd be here. But when I was at Baylor in 2021, I had just got the job and I was feeling really good, and the head coach had me working on this project called the Baylor Standard, and it was kind of a culture deal where we rewarded guys for doing certain things that our culture asked them to do. And so I was really excited about it. It reminded me of stuff that I did in school, but it reminded me of what I did for Coach Tom Herman at the University of Houston, something that was called Champions. And so I was able to tweak it. So I'm at a women's basketball game. Shout out to women's basketball team at Baylor. They were top 10 in the country. And I'm sitting there talking to somebody, and somebody on staff there was like, hey, I know you're new. Tell us about yourself. Like, tell me what you're doing. So I'm like, hey, yeah, I just got this great responsibility, the Baylor Standard. I'm going to be making this incredible deal, and I'm not giving them everything, but I'm giving them enough. And so I thought it was a good conversation, didn't think nothing of it. Like, hey man, these people are really cool. He was like, well, maybe he worked in development. He's like, maybe we could do something with it. I was like, I don't know, maybe we could talk about it afterwards, whatever. I'm not thinking anything about it. This podcast is brought to you by Savoya, who has over 2 decades of connecting travelers with the world's top chauffeurs. And one way they do it is technology. Technology has been incredible. Once I got off my flight, I had a text message from my driver, where to be, how to get there. My wife's getting notifications and emails back home where I'm at. The technology, the service is immaculate. It is unreal. The quality of the ride, I mean, yes. Savoya needs to be your choice for travel. And the good thing is they're stepping in athletics. So if you work in recruiting, if you're operations, chief of staff, player development, you got to bring guests in, move the team, get coaches moved, bring in recruits, parents, different things like that. Savoya is the choice for you. Well, the next day I get to the office, and in the office I hear my chief of staff calls me in and says, hey, we need you to come in. I need to talk to you. I'm like, all right, what's up? I'm not thinking. I kind of tell he was serious. I'm like, man, I've been here a week and a half. Like, what's so serious? He's like, are you telling people what we do in football? I'm like, no, why would I tell people what we're doing in football? He's like, so people don't know about the Baylor Standard? I'm like, yeah, I had a conversation with somebody about the Baylor Standard. And so what happened was this guy went to a executive meeting that the head coach was at, and he started talking about, yeah, we're going to do this Baylor Standard deal, and we're teaming up with the football team, and they're doing this. And so we're thinking about doing this for fundraising and have a standard for our boosters. And I'm like, oh my God, that's not what I want. I was just telling them about what we were doing. But I learned that lesson. Want y'all to learn that lesson, player development. You can't tell everyone what you're doing in player development, right? My head coach, I had to talk to him as well. He's just, hey man, when we do stuff, let's keep it in-house. Once again, I didn't think it was that big, but I understood because someone else took it. So that is what I want to tell you all today for this podcast episode. You want to make sure you don't tell everyone everything when you're working in player development. Once again, shout out to Savoya for sponsoring this podcast episode as I'm on my way to see the Duke Blue Devils football team. Really excited to talk to them today about networking and spend time with John Battle. But hey, check all the content out right here. Here's a Duke playlist for you to check. Hey, and as always, go out and create generational impact. Don't wait, create that generational impact today.